Hi, and thanks for watching another edition of The Clay Way. I'm John Clay.
And I'm Travis McCabe.
Travis, of course, joining us from a little break from Green Bean Coffee House,
A little
so
break.
we appreciate that. Travis, you and I both do a lot in the community as sort of what we decide to, hey, what we want to do with our time. And not only are we doing it for the community's sake, we're doing it for our own sake, but it's also, since we're talking about parenting here, I really wanted to ask you your thoughts, and I'd share mine too, about the whole idea of how do you convince your children to put time into the community, volunteer. It seems to me I've always seen families that do it well, and I just admire watching a family come in and work, for example, a soup kitchen or whatever it might be, and I'm like, wow, I really want to be like that. And then you're barely struggling to hold it together in just normal family things. How do I want to? I don't even want to take them to a restaurant, so why would I take them to a soup kitchen? That kind of concept. But I think that ultimately, you have to. There's some steps to take. I wanted to ask you about your thoughts of how is it that you, how do you best get your children knowledgeable, engaged, involved in charitable activities or helping others?
Sure. The one thing I guess it's nice, with our community is that there's so much stuff that we can do. I mean, there's so much stuff that we can get into and get involved with the families. And what I really end up finding is letting them pick what they want to do, seeing what they're interested in, saying we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, and letting them decide really what they want to do. Because obviously if they're invested in it, they're going to take it more serious. They're going to want to do this. Give an example, a lot of people know me from the 501st. It's an international Star Wars organization where, we literally dress as plastic spacemen, so to speak, and visit different children's hospitals and stuff like that. Whenever I started doing it, my son Braden, he was younger. He was only 5 or 6 when I started doing it, and I sat him up and he did a little Jawa costume. And he would go to the events with me, and he was dressed as a Jawa, but he got so much interaction of high-fiving little kids, that was his age or even older than him, but it was that interaction, and he knew that everything that we were doing, we were collecting toys, and these toys were going to the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh or just a Children's Hospital, that he was invested because he liked the idea of what he was doing was helping kids his age. And I told him, I said these would end up helping these little kids or this kids or that kids. And at the end of the day, I think the realization set him was like, wow, I have this stuff, but here's something that these children may not have.
Right.
They're struggling in a hospital, gosh knows, really what they're going through. I can help this kid out. I can help get this toy for them. I can help do this. I can help do it, and still have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. Getting them invested and have fun doing it. It's volunteer work doesn't have to be work.
Yeah.
Volunteer work should be fun. You should have fun doing it. Whether it's cleaning up a park or or just going out and about, like you spoke about doing a soup kitchen. There's so many interactions that we can do, and I think one of the biggest thing is getting out into your community. Don't be afraid or gun shy of who you may run into. And that's the thrill of it. That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
Meeting so many different people who have their own stories that you can connect with, and it's absolutely amazing, and find value in that.
Right.
And have fun with it. You can make so many new friends and have hear so many great stories from so many different people of so many different walks of life. Where things that you that we take for granted, or things that you're like, oh man, I really had a terrible day, and this person came up who may not have as much as us at the time, being like, hey, they're on top of the world. It's like, wow, why am I struggling with my terrible day when here's this guy's obviously has less than I do, but he's chipper as can be. Maybe I better reevaluate myself. And I think there's little things that realization sets in where we can look at each other and be like, you know what? I can help this person out by doing this. I can help this person out by doing that. But at the end of the day, getting the kids involved, to continue that on, it's absolutely important. But I think it comes down to just finding their initial interest.
Yeah.
long roundabout things.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's got to be crucial because, like you said, there's got to be a buy-in. And I also like what you said about, I believe also it's about people, making connections with people. It's not necessarily about raking the lawn of somebody that needs their leaves raked. It's making that connection with that. They understand someone cares. And you make that connection. Who knows what will happen from that connection down the road.
Absolutely.
And I think that from my perspective, one of the things when we interview people and ask them, people who are famous for their volunteer efforts, they always generally say, I get more out of it than I put in.
Right.
You know, you hear that over and over and over again, is what you get back is so much far greater than the time that you put in or the money that you put in. And what I've been doing with I mean, my kids are smaller, and so they're not necessarily as capable of really getting in sweat equity or elbow grease, whatever you call
Right.
it, all the time. So, but what I found is making a win-win. One of the things that we've done is we spend time during the holidays at either the veterans home or the old folks homes.
Sure.
Where we don't have my parents aren't around as much. Their grandparents aren't as available because they live so far away. So they don't have that bond as much as they could benefit from interacting with the elderly. And boy, the elderly who are in these places don't always have visitors.
Right.
And what a magic it is to see. My kids are very willing to go and talk to people and bring a smile to their face and just chat. And of course, these folks are just so excited just to be able to interact with a little one that they don't get that access to. So to me, it's a win-win. We get way more out of it, and then later on, as you're talking about, we can use it as a reference when we're going through struggles. We can say, remember about the person we helped and how difficult their situation might have been, and it helps put everything into perspective. And it's such a great teaching tool that I love the fact that I can show them how great they felt. You remember how great you felt when you helped this other person and you thought about somebody else. So I've got these exact moments that I can take them back to and help them direct themselves forward into more positive behavior and choices of helping the community.
Right.
That's what I've found that's worked. I think it's going to change as they get older, and they're going to want to pick more of like, I want to go help out in such place.
Right. And that's exactly it. You want it to continue on. You'd like to be able to know these few times you've taken the boys out. Or these little adventures that you've done, that they'll want to continue on as they grow up and grow older, and to potentially take their children out, or even, eventually your grandkids out, you're like, hey, let's go down, But yeah, I mean, and the thing is, it's like, it's simple acts. All of it is simple acts, admittingly, we all have busy schedules. I know you have a busy schedule. I know I sure as heck have a busy schedule. But we always can still make time, And I understand people work different shifts and whatnot, But it's pick a day or pick a couple hours out of, sometime next week when you're like, you know what? Instead of sitting on the couch binge watching, maybe I will go and help my neighbor out.
Yeah.
Or it's simple acts of kindness. It really is that you carry on.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much. It really doesn't.
Put it on the schedule. That's the challenge I would say is when you're looking for we're always looking for some kind of fun things to do with the kids. I am things that get us out of the house sometimes. And so just to be able to check with a neighbor and say, hey, we're going to stop by, and then just say, let's go over and check with so and so, and we just stop by and see if they need some help with something around the yard, or whatever it is. Maybe something that they're having a struggle with. I think that's that's a great opportunity just to be able to check it off the list. And how great are you leaving everyone's happy, and you help somebody and you walk away just feeling fantastic.
Right. Exactly. It's a win-win, like you said. And it's like I said, everybody can be a philanthropist. It's not always about money. But all of us can give.
Yeah.
Whether it's giving of our time or or just taking a few minutes to say hello, or even helping someone do their car. You might have like their bags full. Like, let me grab that for you. It's small acts, but small acts are big things.
Yeah, they add up. And again, the thing that you do is your kids are going to go, I remember when my dad used to take us to so and so, or my mom used to do whatever, and to be able to have that ingrained as a life lesson that, like you said, is going to. The idea that you could carry that on to the next generation and the grandkids or whatever would be amazing. To feel like you did something, you planted a tree that is still part of their lives.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Exactly. My son can be like, my dad used to dress up as Plastic Spaceman. Your pappy was a stormtrooper. They're like, what?
Well, there's always fun ways to volunteer, and we encourage you, if you have any, if you're wondering about it, feel free to call us. So call me here at the station. Call Travis at Green Bean.
Absolutely.
We've got some connections in and thoughts, and we'd be happy to help in any way.
Yep, absolutely.
So until next time, I'm John Clay.
Travis McCabe.
Yeah, thanks for watching The Clay Way. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.